Bobby savored these few minutes before bed when she could read uninterrupted in the peacefulness of the quiet house, the children asleep, Scott working on the computer. It was Friday night, just her and her book. She turned the page. If only she could stay awake long enough to read. She felt her eyelids droop. Scott appeared in the doorway. It was early for him to be coming to bed. He closed the door behind him. Uh-oh. He had the look, but she wanted to read her book. She'd been waiting all day. I'm reading this really great book, Scotty. Oh, yeah? He came over and stroked between her fingers where she was holding the book, and then he stroked the book. He said, and started licking her hand. Could you go away and come back in a few minutes? She said, wanting him, but wanting her long-awaited reading time more. Oh, go away. Come back. I see. I will, indeed, madam. I will go hence, and now I will henceforth go forth and return. He said with a flourish and a bow, and then was gone. Barbie thought, that wasn't what I meant. She kept reading as quickly as she could, knowing that whatever he was up to, it was going to be imminently distracting. She got in several more pages before the door opened. God, where did he get that outfit? He was dressed in a dark blue workman's jumpsuit with Rick sewn on in orange thread. He was carrying his toolbox. Ma'am, I'm here to fix the pipes, Scott whispered. Oh, okay, Bobby said. The bathroom's down the hall. I'm not here to fix the bathroom, he said, eyeing her nipples through her nightgown. Should I show you where the kitchen is, then? Ma'am, the plumbing I need to fix is in here. Yes, he said, as he closed the bedroom door behind him softly. The pipes are in that wall, over near the bed. I'm afraid I need to open up the wall and work on those pipes. Oh, I don't know, that sounds pretty messy. My husband's coming home soon, and here she paused. He won't want the wall all torn apart. I assure you, this won't take long. Scott came around to the wall next to her and got his tools out. I hope you don't mind my asking, but what's your name? Gloria. My name is Gloria, and your name is Rick, right? Well, I know it says Rick on my overalls, but actually, I got these from the guy who had the job before me, see? So my name is, Hunk. Hunk? Your name is Hunk? Yes, that's right. He swung his hammer and knocked a hole through the sheetrock. What the fuck are you doing? She whispered. You'll wake the children. Gloria, I'm awfully sorry, but it's the only way to get to the pipes, he grinned. He leaned over and softly placed the head of the hammer on the skin just below her collarbone, where her nightgown fell open. He caressed her with the cool metal head, drawing patterns that sloped gradually down toward her breasts. She was breathing hard. She looked him in the eye as he continued his circling until the hammer rested in the valley between her breasts. It has been so long since I have felt a hammer between my breasts, she said. She watched the corners of Scott's mouth twitch as he stifled a laugh. He methodically moved the hammer to her left nipple, moving it around and around, which caused her to shiver and close her eyes. Her book dropped to the floor. It was quiet for a time while he traced the cool metal around each of her nipples, which were now puckered and pointing straight up. She grabbed him and pulled him on top of her in one motion. Oh, Hunk, fix me, fix my pipes and my... She stopped cold. The door to the room was open and two small figures stood in the doorway. One toddler and one 6-year-old, both in long nightgowns with big eyes clutching their teddy bears. Are you playing that game? Both girls came slowly into the room, smiling as they quietly advanced. Daddy, are you fixing something? Is that why you have that hammer? She said. Yes, Daddy's fixing something. But you have to go back to bed. Remember how we talked about this before? Come on, back to bed for both of you, Scott said. Can't we play too? I know how to use a hammer, Rolia said. Hammer, Hannah said. Scott took each child by the hand and led them back to their room. Bobby groaned, probably scarring them for life. Oh well, I guess they'll have to work it out in therapy when they're older, just like the rest of us. Scott came back. "Lock it," she whispered. He locked the door behind him and jumped back on top of her, resuming his hammer tracing. But now he was beginning to move the hammer lower. "Gloria, darling, if I am to fix you, I must remove the covering to your pipes," he said. "Oh, Hunk, I mustn't. I really mustn't. My husband will be home soon." "There's plenty of time. I know when he comes home. Don't worry." Scott got some scissors out of his toolbox and slowly cut her nightgown off her. She rolled her eyes at him. She knew he had never liked this nightgown. Oh, she sighed. He moved the hammerhead down the length of her body, arriving at her mound, making figure eights with the cool steel. As the figure eights descended, he began to delicately open her labia with the hammerhead. "Hunk!" She grabbed his cock underneath the fabric of the jumpsuit. "Hammer me with your rod of love." At this, Scott could not restrain a guffaw, but he quickly regained his composure and ripped off his jumpsuit, under which he was naked and his rod of love was at attention. He rubbed it against her vulva. "Oh, Gloria, ma'am," he said, moving down and settling his face between her legs. "As much as I want to slide my hot rod of love inside you, I always lubricate the area before going in and making repairs. It's a sign of good workmanship." He lifted his head and looked at her solemnly. "I would be ashamed if I did not practice my trade with the utmost skill and," he paused here for effect, "respect. Respect for the sacred tunnel of love, the entrance to the inner workings of your temple." He put his tongue inside her labia and slid it up and down and around below the base of her clit. It was quiet. His hand slid up to her breasts and flicked her nipples. She was breathing hard, would probably be moaning if it weren't for the children. She heard the hammer clatter on the floor. He put his fingers inside her cunt as he continued tonguing her in the way that only he knew so well. She felt a wave coming on, rolling over her, and she heard herself whisper a moan, and then the wave spread all through her as she bucked on his fingers, and the sensations broke over the crest. He kept going. "Don't move," she whispered. He stopped. She lay there panting. Scott moved up and kissed her with his wet lips, smiled, and whispered, "Now I can go in and do my job with the knowledge that I have practiced good workmanship." He plunged his cock into her welcoming cunt. She met him with powerful thrusts back and then rolled over him so they were both on their sides, each thrusting and meeting the other in the middle. "Hunk, you really know how to grease those pipes." Then she felt another wave roll over her, and she let out a whispered "ah," a long, silent moan. And Scott was looking at her with that half-lidded look, pressing and pushing into her again and again. She closed her eyes in a kind of trance. We could do this forever, she thought. She opened her eyes and kissed him, a major tongue-down-your-throat kind of kiss, and then he had this look of surprise on his face, like he was being taken over by something, and he wasn't quite ready, like he wanted to prolong it. But she knew he was holding back more for her pleasure than for his, so she grabbed his butt and pressed him into it. "Scott, you feel so good inside me, so right." And he came. They lay there side by side, breathing hard into the quiet of the house. She pulled away and looked him in the eye. "Hunk, you better leave before my husband gets home." "You know what?" he whispered into her ear. "Don't worry about your husband. I fixed him good. He won't be back until Monday."